Had travel ball taken over yet, or was there still Legion ball?
Growing up, Legion ball was everything. Playing for the Doc Stewarts was everything. Like, I remember just a kid watching these high school kids play.
Yeah.
And it was everything I wanted to be. And they had to wear their pants up.
Yep.
Like, they sprinted on and off the field. Like, had to sprint. And I was just everything I idled. And now these letters in the mail don't say colleges, they say pro teams. Now it's getting kind of cool. Now it's like, oh, this is pretty legit now.
But with what you're saying, though, there's a lot of humility with it too, right? If you put that work in, you're going to be rewarded. So
I think humility hit me freshman year of college. He just starts letting me have it. What I'd been doing, and like, he is like nose to nose. And one thing I remember too is like, my dad always taught me, if I'm ever getting like a butt chewing, just stare him in the eye. Like, don't lose eye contact, just stare him in the eye. And I remember I'm sitting there staring him in the eye, and I just can't believe it. And he's telling me that, you know, he's taking recruiting trips just to replace me. That gets real, like, at that point. It's like, and that's what, like, I didn't realize. Like, when they're going on these recruiting trips, like, they get you to sign. Well, that same time that they're getting you to sign, they're finding guys coming either behind you or in the same class as you. So you roll in, and there's not just, you thought you were the guy. There's 3 guys, 2 guys, another guy. I mean, that's just the name of the business.
Tell me this, like, tell me what happened. Like, where'd you go? And
I was drafted in the 4th round by the Atlanta Braves. Wherever you were at, if it wasn't the big leagues, it's not where you wanted to be. Every day you come in and like rosters change. And like, they wouldn't just like change your roster. They would empty out your locker. Yeah, because I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Trying to block it out.
Yeah. I like to wear my hat. So, well, welcome into Frontline Podcasting. This week we have a really cool person to come on, just kind of talking about some, I don't know, sports and like all kinds of things. So, our guest this week is Josh Graham, and I don't have a bio on you, so I'm going to let you kind of tell me about where you grew up and all that kind of stuff. It's always fun to hear that stuff. So, so let's start out. Where did you, because I can't wait to get into your baseball career and all that kind of stuff, but where'd you grow up?
Born and raised in Roseburg, Oregon, and I was there, lived there till 2020, came over to Bend, and been here ever since.
So you went to Roseburg High School too?
Oh, yes.
Whoa. Okay. My lieutenant is a Roseburg alum, and I just blanked. Who's the longtime coach?
Thurman Bell.
Thurman Bell.
Yep.
He played for Thurman Bell. Yep. When I was younger, in the early 90s in high school, Roseburg was the biggest high school in the state. It was huge.
I don't know if I've ever like really heard that, to be honest with you.
That was back in the day. Now, my dad used to say that, and I don't know if that was always true, but there was just so many kids that went there. But
yeah, I know it's the only like main high school in that city. I mean, there's like some surrounding high schools, Douglas, Sutherland, South Umpqua, like smaller schools. Yeah. But there was just like one 6A school.
I think it's interesting because there's a lot of people I've met through work and just, around Central Oregon that, I mean, there's obviously a ton of people that come from Portland, but there's actually quite a few people that come from kind of the Southwest area, you know?
Yeah, like when I got over here, like I met a lot of people that same type of deal. They moved from the valley, and that was like the thing. People call it the valley. Once you kind of get over the Cascades, you're in the valley.
Yeah, and that's general.
I know, and I never grew up hearing like we lived in the valley, but then when I came over here, I started hearing about it, and then like when people, you get to know somebody or talk to somebody, like they're saying like, "Oh, I'm from the valley," and it's like, "Oh, okay, like whereabouts?"
Where?
Because I'm from the valley.
Because you have to follow the
Yeah.
You're in the I-5 corridor.
Yeah. Right along through there. But,
and I think I think the valley thing, when people say that now, I could be wrong, but it helps dilute from that you're not from Portland.
Yeah. I think I would use it then.
I lived 25 miles from Portland, but I lived like out in like wine country, like out in the country in Yamhill County. So it was quite a ways from Portland, but
yeah, where it starts getting really pretty.
Yeah.
That was kind of the same way. Like people, I mean, not many people like playing pro ball are from Oregon. So when you tell them, "Oh, I'm from Oregon," immediately they're going Portland. Yeah, and it's like you got to kind of distinct yourself quite a bit.
Absolutely.
But
So growing up, did you play, what sports did you play? Like did you play little guy football?
So yeah, I played flag football,
Yeah.
played tackle football, basketball, and then I think there was a brief time where I played soccer for a year.
Every kid had to.
I know, and that's what it kind of felt like. But then it was like going into flag football.
Yeah.
That was kind of the next deal, and did that, and then played basketball till I was, I think, 7th grade, and then played football till I was a freshman, and then after freshman year, I just kind of committed everything to baseball.
Gotcha. So you played t-ball then?
Oh
I
yeah.
had to play t-ball.
Mm-hmm.
Did you do they didn't have it when I was younger, but did you play that deal where the little blue pitching thing throws it to you?
No, that
wasn't
was
existing
kind of
yet?
after me.
Yeah.
We T-ball for me was like the coach would still pitch it to you,
Yeah.
and if you got to 2 strikes, then they put the ball on the tee for you.
Ah, okay.
Which I feel like,
Yep. It's
I don't
good.
know, I felt like that was a little bit better, and
Yeah.
the machine's weird.
Well, it's hard I was just talking to somebody about that the other day, with Spano, about trying to set that thing up and get it to throw consistent strikes. So,
Yeah.
actually it was Jim Ristoff, not Spano, but okay. So baseball kind of became your thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You could play it at that point. There was fall leagues coming up and kind of getting kind of more popular, or at least have the opportunity to play in the fall.
Yeah.
So then it kind of became a year-round thing where you're playing spring, and then you're playing in the summer, and then you're going to play in the fall. And then it was, yeah, I just kind of played it year-round.
The farther you got in, and I don't know what after like freshman year for you, it had travel ball taken over yet, or was there still Legion ball,
So Legion ball
or is that gone?
was, no, because like here it's Central Oregon. It doesn't seem like Legion ball is like the most popular thing, which is kind of crazy because growing up, Legion ball was everything
Right.
in Roseburg. Like like Roseburg High School was kind of one thing, but like playing for the Doc Stewarts was everything. Like I remember just a kid watching these high school kids play,
Yeah.
and it was everything I wanted to be. And like they had to wear their pants up,
Yep.
like they sprinted on and off the field, like
Yep.
had to sprint, and that was just everything I idled.
Yeah.
And it's still a thing there now. Like they're still playing Legion ball. But yeah, I just remember it was the thing you look forward to the most out of the year, because I mean, during the week, you're practice for a couple hours, and then you get to hang out with your buddies the rest of the time. And it was awesome.
Well, and it's interesting because, so let me back up just one more thing. Was there like Babe Ruth league for you? Did you play Babe Ruth?
I didn't play Babe Ruth, but there was Babe Ruth.
Because Babe Ruth seemed like it was middle school, and then once you hit high school, you played high school ball, and then the summer of high school ball, then you hit Legion ball. So Babe Ruth was kind of that middle school league thing. It may not have been called the same thing, but
I did Little League, and it was like super competitive when I was playing, and I really enjoyed. Looking back on it now, from what I've just kind of experienced, is I really enjoyed that there was a designated amount of coaches. You know, there were dads wanting to coach, or typically that's how it went. And they had a kid that was probably pretty good, but there was like a tryout, and all these kids came out. We tried out, and then obviously the dad gets his son, and then you kind of draw names for who gets the picks,
right.
and then you go through and kind of pick your team. Like these teams are pretty like spread out. Like each team had a couple good players, handful of good players, which made like the games a little bit more competitive.
Yeah.
And then there was like all-star teams.
Yeah.
And the unfortunate part about what we had is like we split up the all-star team to where there was an orange team and then a black team. So then like half the good players got on one team, half the good players got on the other team. And then we'd get to these, state tournaments.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be orange versus black for the state tournament championship. So then we split the team, and then one team went to regional, and
the other one stayed home.
it didn't do very good. So it was like, that was our chance to go to the Little League World Series, which was another one of those huge things back then. And like, I think it's kind of still is. I enjoy watching it.
Yeah. Did you ever get to play at Alpenrose ever?
So funny story about Alpenrose. we were playing. So we were Roseburg Orange, and I was 9 years old, and we play Alpenrose State Tournament. And so we're playing. I don't remember who we were playing. My dad was coaching, and I ended up hitting my first home run over the fence at Alpenrose. And I remember going around. I had like one of my teammates who was kind of funny. He lives here locally. Was like, I got to first base and he like kind of like tackled me. And like, at that point, no one ever seen a ball go over the fence. Like, we're just too young.
Yeah.
And I remember like going around like second base. I'm giving like the Kirk Gibson, like I'm just milking this for everything. And it was just like the coolest thing ever. But yeah, that first home run was at Alpenrose, and
That's awesome.
yeah,
I remember, and it's silly, but that place, it's funny. If you don't know anything about it, it's it's in the kind of on a dairy property. But I just remember as a kid going there, and the field was so nice, and it was actually kind of remind you of Fenway in a sense because that big green scoreboard. I mean, but I remember having like the sunken dugouts. I thought that was the most. I was like, this is amazing, And it's funny how it wows you as a kid. But I'm gonna be 52 this year, and I still remember that place. And I saw Johnny Cash and June Cash there in concert one time, like 1992. So yeah, Alpenrose that was a cool place.
Because at that point I was just used to chain link fence,
yeah,
up on the chain, or whatever it was. Yep. But you get that sunken like.
Well, it was about
you made it. At that point, you made it.
It was the most put together field like anybody had around. So to get there and play on it was awesome.
Well, I think they were doing like what I remember. Sometimes you'd see like softball tournaments on ESPN or something, and you'd see Alpenrose.
They may have, yeah.
It always kind of bring back some good memories.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. You played there too. So, okay, so you played baseball in high school. What'd you mostly play position wise?
Well, after Little League, I did start travel ball.
Oh, okay.
So that was the first year. It was like we kind of did the same type of deal. We were kind of everyone was tired of splitting the all-star teams. And hey, let's combine everybody and see what we can do. And so I played travel ball when I was 11. Played on a 12U team, and that was like kind of to this day, it's like one of the best teams I've ever been on. Yeah. Like I don't know if we lost a game, but played it second year, and then played one more year for 13. And then went into like another summer league coached by someone else out of Glide High School. And he was really good. He was a high school coach. And then that was like my first taste going into high school. And then that summer, I think anybody kind of like pretty good always was like shortstop growing up, shortstop and pitch. So I did that and then got to playing for him. And he asked me, hey, do you want to catch? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So I start catching there, and then I catch and pitch. And then that kind of like when baseball started really taking over for me because like how much I enjoyed putting on the gear, how much I enjoyed being behind the plate, touching the ball every time. Yep. And then that's when it like got a lot more deeper to me and a lot more meaningful. Like, this is what I want to do. This is where I'm going. And then everything that was kind of around me kind of like just gravitated towards it. And then so I was catcher and pitcher all the way through. Didn't play. I would like DH every once in a while, depending on the team I was at, like the Legion ball team I was on, that we were really good. But DH every once in a while because we had another catcher on the team. And then play first base every once in a while because I had just the bat and lineup, but for the most part,
good enough to play first base too.
Catcher and pitcher. Yeah. I wouldn't say I was good enough to play first base. There's definitely some better first basemen out there, but just had the bat at the time, but mainly it was just catching and pitching. And as soon as that sophomore year was over, it was catching and pitching, and that was it. Nothing else.
It's an interesting combo. I mean, I can get away with it in high school. That's impressive to be catcher and pitching.
Well, I actually ended up doing it in college, which was kind of like a dream come true in a sense. And I think at the end of the day, like I was always just kind of catcher mentality. That's just who I was. Just kind of a bulldog, so to speak. And like that kind of translated onto the mound and who I was on the mound. Yeah. And then got to senior year, signed with University of Oregon, and then went there as just solely a catcher. And
Don't jump ahead too far on me here. Man, you're just rolling right through this.
well,
I know.
but yeah, catcher pitcher, that was me.
Yeah.
That was me.
I was a catcher. And I pretty much, I think, and if I rotated out, I played third. But I loved too catching. There was something about, I loved putting on the gear. I don't know. Maybe as a kid, it's kind of like, it's the cool stuff you can do. Everybody else just grabs their gloves and heads back out to the field, but you're on deck and you got your shin guards on still. I mean, I don't know what it is, but
yeah, give this kid time. You got to take shin guards off, But yeah, no, to me, I just think there's just some pride in it.
Well, you're in the middle of everything.
Yeah, you are in the middle of everything, but I don't think every kid wants to catch.
Yeah.
I think just being around here locally and like everybody likes the new gear and the shiny gear.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you
gotta be a dog.
When you get in there and like all of a sudden someone bounces the ball in front of you and am I going to turn my head or am I going to block this thing? Like it's all fun until you start getting in it. And then like, oh no, I don't know about this.
No, it's a job. Who, growing up in your era who did you like in the major leagues? Who'd you love to watch as a catcher?
So my uncle caught in the big leagues for a while. And so I was always kind of around him and just kind of like the same thing. Just idolized him, everything he wanted, everything he was doing. That's what I wanted to do. But I mean, I grew up a big, and still am, big Yankees fan. And I mean, that's kind of hit or miss on, people, whatever they think. But either way, I love Derek Jeter. And it wasn't necessarily like a catcher that I liked. I mean, I watched Albert Pujols a lot, Bonds, like all these guys that hit home runs and like they were big and strong. That's who I liked. But I think when I started really studying catchers, I was watching Yadier Molina a lot because I think when I first started watching him, I just kind of thought he was lazy. But in reality, he just made the job look so easy.
Yeah.
And like it looked so easy. I mean, it looked like he was lethargic, but he was just
smooth.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
And I just replicated my game after him, and then just kind of take little things here and there from other guys that were playing, and I
always thought that I used to go over to my neighbor across the street. It was my brother's buddy, and we would watch I think it was the CW. And the Cubbies would be on all the time. So we'd watch all these games during the day in the summer, and watched a lot of Tony Pena, I mean, I just always was fascinated how he kind of, his stance changed the game. Not changed the game, but him broke the mold of just like doing the ordinary, right?
Yeah.
And it was always interesting, but don't feel bad. My favorite player all time is Nolan Ryan.
There you go.
So I always thought he was just a tough old
I think that one
bastard,
picture of him was like he's got blood coming down his nose. And
it's when he beamed what's his face and
Ventura.
He charged him out and put him in a
Ventura.
headlock, and he took one shot from him and got him in the headlock, just worked him.
Yeah, like that picture though is just like iconic, and I think anymore it's like that's the type of player I wanted to be.
Yeah,
I don't know about you, but I wanted to be that guy.
Yeah, Finley has that picture in that poster in his bedroom.
That's perfect.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay. All right. So how did high school go for you, like recruiting wise? What'd that look like? Oh, wait a minute. Let me back up. I have one more question about just for mechanics for you. I guess I would assume that catching and pitching didn't change any of your mechanics for throwing, because sometimes catchers get I have a really short delivery. I don't wind back way far.
So do I.
Did you change that for pitching, or are you stuck? You could keep doing it.
Stuck with it.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think the only thing that changed at that point is like, catching like throwing guys out, you have a short amount of room to work because you got to get rid of the ball as quick as you can.
Right.
And so like when you got on the mound, like you would just get, I guess, just a hair longer just because you're coming down the mound, but it didn't change anything. I think regardless, I was going to throw it as hard as I can, and hopefully it was close.
Okay. All right, let's move into recruiting. I'm just curious what happened, and when did you start getting recruited?
So they had this like little program. It was called Base Northwest. They had it, and you go to like a couple, workouts and stuff like that. And The good part about it was free. You get plenty of offers to go do different, programs, but you had to pay a bunch of money to go do it. And we just kind of elected to, anything that we were going to do wasn't going to be a paid thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know if there's anything like that anymore where like they're solely looking for the talent and that's all they want from you. But so I went to a couple of those and that kind of got me put on a list, and you start getting like questionnaires in the mail about, this college, that college. And then my sophomore year, I played. So we had a team for Roseburg. We were like number 1 in the state, and I was on this team, and we were super good. Kind of another one of those teams, like just you always remember like one of these teams. And then that team went over into Legion Ball, and then we picked like a couple guys from these smaller high schools around that were really good too. And then all of a sudden we started, we went to state, won state, went to regional, won regional, and then we went to Legion World Series, and then did really well there. I can't remember if we got like 3rd or 4th there, but now you're playing. People are starting to recognize like these good teams that are coming around. Well, they're good teams, there's good players, so you get more people coming around with colleges and stuff, and then kind of like letters started coming in the mail, questionnaires, Arizona State, Stanford, Oregon State, Oregon, Wazoo, like all these kind of Pac-12 schools are starting to come in. And I think at that time, I wasn't really focused on it. For some reason, it might have been that I was just kind of like delusional in the sense, or I was just so wrapped up in playing that I didn't really think about it a whole lot. And then it got to like my junior and senior year, and now these letters in the mail don't say colleges, they say pro teams. Now it's getting kind of cool. Now it's like, oh, this is pretty legit now. And I think typically people sign to go to college junior year, and I just wasn't that guy. I think a lot of kids now feel the pressure like they need to sign now.
Yeah.
Even though this is at this point, this is probably the biggest decision they're going to make.
Right.
And so I waited till the fall of my senior year, signed with Oregon, and I think that helped give me some leverage with these pro teams. So now these pro teams are seeing, oh, this kid's going to University of Oregon, and that kind of brings more guys in, and now you're going to games, and behind the stands there's 15, 20 radar guns. Everybody's watching you. Now you got all these different teams sending you letters, talking to you after the game, or talking to my parents. And I think at that point, I really didn't sit there and thought about, like, man, this is so cool, or like, I'm so grateful for this.
It was just happening.
It was just like happening. And I just remember growing up, my dad was always telling me about like, like the people who work the hardest get whatever they want, or, you got to outwork everybody. And so I just kind of lived by that. And I was just like so into the work that I think it probably gave me some confidence, walking into a room, just because you have this publicity, or you have this kind of riding on you, which I think just kind of helped me play better. Yeah. But it was a testimony of like the amount of work I was putting in. Yeah. And then,
but with what you're saying though, there's a lot of humility with it too, right? If you put that work in, you're going to be rewarded. So,
well, I think humility hit me freshman year of college. Okay. I think that's when I like, are we good to get into college?
Yeah. Okay. I just think that it's interesting though that you say that, because funny how phases of humility or those things hit you, where you go from, let's say, Babe Ruth, whatever, and little middle school baseball, and then you pop in and you're a freshman. Starts all over again. You may have been top dog as an 8th grader. Yep. Then you're a senior, and then you go in and now you're just, low man on the totem pole again, potentially, in a lot of cases, because it's just people have played longer and maturity and coaching.
I don't know if I was like necessarily like low man on a totem pole
Sure.
because like, you know, Roseburg's small.
Yeah.
So like, you know where the good players are at, especially the few years that are ahead of
Yeah.
you.
I just mean more of like that start over, right?
Yeah.
I'm the senior now in high school. Now I'm going to be a freshman in college. So
Yeah.
it more like that.
Yeah. You're no longer the big dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that. But I just always had buddies that were older than me,
Mm-hmm.
like 2 or 3 years older than me at least. And I think kind of still today, like all my great buddies are older than me.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I kind of knew what I was getting into when I rolled in.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing you didn't really know is like, you know, how things were ran,
Yeah.
like different coaches.
Right.
And then just like now you're in conference play. I think at that point I wasn't into, like we weren't playing in a league. We were just playing tournaments.
Did you do, and I'm backing up just a skosh, did you have to do much? Did you do many official visits, or did it take you long to, nope, I want to go to Oregon, and boom, sign?
So Oregon had a fall league my senior year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where everything kind of ignited for Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was they had a pitching coach at the time that was running the camps and running the scrimmages, and which was kind of funny because he coached me when I was 11 years old on a team. We went to California and then went and played in Cooperstown, like coached me, and now he's at Oregon. So like seeing him was cool.
Yeah.
But I think that kind of really ignited it. Went there, started showing up, and it was like Tuesdays and Thursdays. My dad would drive me up to Eugene, and we'd play at PK Park on turf and lights, and that was super cool. Mound was like perfect. And then, but there was like, I mean, you could have the potential to face like an 8th grader or something. Like it was like 14 to 18 years old or 14,
Oh my.
you know, but
It's like these open wrestling tournaments.
yeah. You know, you might.
Yeah.
And so went there, and there was like a few numbers that popped up on the board when I was pitching, and then it kind of ignited from there. Next thing you know, like assistant coaches are there watching. Assistant coaches are talking to my dad in the stands, and I never really took like an official visit
Wow.
because maybe it would have been smart enough to, but I think that the reason why I was going to a school wasn't because of, it's probably not the smartest thing saying this, but like wasn't because of school.
Right.
It was to play sports.
Correct.
And that's why I went.
Yeah.
And that's why I was going. So to me, it came down to like who genuinely wanted me,
Mm-hmm.
and like how were they to my family,
Mm-hmm.
and could I be around these guys for the next 4 years, hopefully 3 years. And being around those guys, Mark Wazakowski, Jay Ullman, George Horton, being around those guys was special when I first met them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was special throughout the whole entire time. And so, and even to this day, like Coach Horton, like still texts me on my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Ullman, like we had this kind of inside joke about Bull Durham quotes,
Mm-hmm.
and he's texting me. He'll text me quotes about Bull Durham. I haven't seen the guy in a while, but
Yeah.
like same with Wazakowski. Like Wazakowski lives in Eugene now. He was at Purdue for a little while and then came back to Oregon, but they'll be like big blacktail buck in the rut in his neighborhood. Get a video of it from it. Like those guys,
Mm-hmm.
like that's what got me there.
Yeah.
The facilities are great. At the end of the day, like I'm from Roseburg, and we didn't have the nicest facilities, but we were all about toughness, and that's what I cared about. So going in there, the facilities didn't really wow me. It was more so, can I work hard for this guy? Well, I want to work hard for this guy, and it was easy.
Yeah.
Absolutely easy. I verbaled to Oregon, and like within 5-10 minutes, the recruiting coach for Oregon State called and was kind of sending me through the deal. Like, you know, this is what we got. This is what we're wanting to do. And
Okay. So what year is Pat still at Oregon State at the time?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Pat Casey.
Yep.
Okay.
Which him and I were great too.
Mhm.
Like the whole coaching staff, we were great. Pat Bailey too.
Yep.
I mean, we'd play him in college, and I'd every single time come see each other, give each other a big old hug. Like
Yeah.
my uncle was an Oregon State guy.
Yeah.
My family's an Oregon State family.
Yeah.
And here I am going to the University of Oregon.
Yeah.
And So
My dad and Pat Casey's dad were classmates in high school.
Really?
I grew up with all the Casey boys.
Was that Newburgh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And in fact, Brian, his brother, who was a police chief at Newburgh, was my senior year, my baseball coach with Jeff Kosmicki, who's now the police chief at Newburgh. But my brother Matt still has all their minor league all their cards, and all this stuff. I used to play Pat in city league basketball. Dude, that dude was a competitor, and we would just scrap.
Yeah.
But that guy they're an awesome family. Awesome family.
I mean, that's that whole, that Oregon State team was very, very talented, but they scrapped.
Yeah.
Like, till this day, that's like, you play teams that are very talented, and I'd say Oregon State, Cal State Fullerton, like those teams were they're just tough.
Okay,
tough
so
players.
what years were you at Oregon? Just so I can reference, like, what years were you there?
A while ago.
It's fine. We're not 06, 07 now.
2013, 2015.
Because my cousin pitched on the 06, 07 national title teams.
Who's that?
His name was Daniel Turpin. He went to McMinnville.
I know him.
He pitched for Pat.
Yeah.
Pitching coach at Lewis and Clark now, I believe, if I get that wrong. But I think he's a pitching coach at Lewis and Clark. It's a college over in Lake Oswego.
Okay.
He made I'm pretty sure I followed him correctly, but I'm pretty sure he made the 40-man roster at the Yankees at one point and also Boston.
Okay.
Drafted by the Giants out of high school, went and played for Pat, and then went on and kind of up and down through the minors and majors. But
Yeah, I know. I definitely remember that last name. I didn't even put two and two together.
Oh, you wouldn't assume, but
yeah.
Okay, so
That's
freshman year of college, you go to Oregon.
Yep.
Did you like Eugene? Different?
You weren't really around this, like we weren't really around the city as much.
Yeah.
Like the only time you were really out and about was like if you kind of had your like food spots.
Yep.
That's kind of where you were going.
Yeah.
Outside of that, you're weights, school, practice, tutoring, and it's just kind of on repeat.
Yeah.
And so I didn't get really like to experience the town a ton.
Yeah.
But then I lived there for about a year or two. It's actually where I met my wife, and it's a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like necessarily talking bad about things, but it's a lot different, and I don't think I fit in.
Mm-hmm. You're from Roseburg.
Yeah,
Logging
I don't think
town.
I fit in, and like to be honest with you, I don't think I fit in at the University of Oregon, but I fit in on the team.
Yeah.
And I fit in with the guys, and I think the guys kind of, there were a lot of SoCal guys, and I think they appreciated somebody showing up wearing Carhartt jeans and Romeo boots.
Yeah. Was Mariota there at that time?
Yes.
Did you ever meet Thomas Tyner?
Oh,
we talked about this the other day.
Yeah. I
didn't know if you ever met him when you were
I
down
just
there.
remember reading those stats in high school and just like, I
because he was down there at that time. I just can't remember exactly what years, but
I don't know. Like we weren't really around football guys too much.
I don't know if you ever crossed paths in the weight room, or if it's the same weight room, or
and I don't think at that time like we really knew like Oregon like I didn't play him in baseball.
Yeah,
I didn't play him in football because I didn't play.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it was like maybe Instagram or something years later because we were both like hunting.
Right.
And that was just
he likes.
But
to
I don't know him.
Yeah. Okay. So what was your freshman year like?
Man, I just learned so much.
Mm-hmm.
Learned so much. I think the importance of like, because like it's a whole different level. Like high school, everybody wants to win the state championship, and like you're playing for that, and then you get to college, and it's same type of deal. Like there's a standard that we play by. The clubhouse is a certain way, and there was more like emphasis on the team and how the team like meshed together, which meant that you had to be a certain way and like act a certain way. And so I think when I got there, it's kind of like you're coming off this thing where I was, signed with Oregon at like if you're in a high school and like, you know, you signed to go play a big school, people start looking at you differently.
Yeah.
And then like I got drafted out of high school. I didn't go there. So I got drafted by the Minnesota Twins. I didn't go there. So I'm coming off of that going into college. So I kind of like, you know, walk into a room and like chest is kind of out kind of a thing. And I think you learn really quick. At least I did. And it took me, I mean, there was definitely some growing pains there. And I think that it made me see a bigger picture a little outside of myself. And which is kind of crazy to look back because I have a lot of regret when it came to that year and some of the things I was doing. And it was just almost like you're just kind of acting like you're a little bit too good for something. Even though I wasn't, you know, obviously looking back now, like it just, there's some regret there. But I learned so much.
That's a lot to throw on an 18-year-old kid, though.
Yeah, and I think there was like some expectation on me, like that starting catching job was open, and which I loved it. I kind of loved the pressure of that, and I found out pretty quick how far back or far behind I was, and I had to learn quick, and it was a very complicated system of how to run. It wasn't just you throw on the catcher's gear and you go catch the pitcher and that's it, like it was in high school.
Right.
It was, hey, you're the fourth coach out here, and you need to know how to run this defense, and you need to know how to run a command a staff and manage a staff, and you need to know these plays. You need to know all these signs, and it was a load. Like it was a lot, and it was just hard. It was very difficult, especially competing against a guy that was already been there for a year, who's trying to learn, who's learning the same system, and he understood it. And then another catcher that understood it as well. And then I found out pretty quick, it was like, because like the tutoring in the school, well, that's also a part of it. You know, you got to go to tutoring. And if you miss tutoring, that's a big no-no. If you miss weights, if you're late for weights, that's a big no-no. If you don't have a certain GPA, well, that's a big no-no as well. So like you had other things that were going on that you had to do in order to be able to even compete for a job. And there was times where, you know, you don't feel like going to class. You'd rather go to breakfast or, you know, text your tutor 15 minutes before and say, hey, let's reschedule. Or just kind of like things like that. Or like accidentally sleep through an alarm and you're late for weights. And, but it wasn't just like you that paid, it was your whole team. The team paid for it. So then it was like, not only did like I get in trouble, but the worst part is like my teammates got to pay for it. And now I'm sitting in a clubhouse and everyone's kind of pissed off at me. You know, I got nothing to say. Well, I had a couple scenarios where it was like kind of like the same thing of just learning to be on my own, learning to make these choices on my own, and just getting bit for it kind of left and right. And I think it kind of, at that point, I think with some of the players on the team, I think it was just kind of, they kind of just kind of checked out on me because of just kind of how I was. But I mean, I learned, and like, it's like, it was like one of the biggest biggest learning experience I had in my life during that time. And I learned pretty quick what it meant to not only just be a man and have people around you depending on you, but just how to be a teammate and what that means. Like there's more than just putting on the uniform. It's everything the uniform represents. And it's the guys that are sitting next to you that are wearing the same uniform, that are going by the same standard. And so I learned a lot that freshman year, and I still played, and yeah, but I mean, I look back at that year and I felt like that was my first experience of it's time to be a man. And I remember there was one of my like best stories, and it wasn't the best at the time, definitely, was we just got done with practice, and we just do a debrief of practice, how practice was, what to expect on the weekend when we're, you know, whatever we had during the weekend. I think we were in the fall during that time. And so we didn't have any games. And after practice, head coach is talking, and all of a sudden, Ullman just kind of like, Coach, I got something to say. Kind of like skirts right in front of Horton as he was talking, and then like comes directly to me. And like there's a couple guys in front of me, and he kind of like kicks these guys to the side. And like he just starts letting me have it of just what I'd been doing. And like he is like nose to nose. And one thing I remember too is like my dad always taught me, if I'm ever getting like a butt chewing, just stare him in the eye. Like don't lose eye contact, just stare him in the eye. And I remember I'm sitting there staring him in the eye, and I just can't believe it. And he's kind of letting me have it. And he's telling me that, you know, he's taking recruiting trips just to replace me. That gets real like at that point. It's like, and that's what like, I didn't realize. Like when they're going on these recruiting trips, like they get you to sign. Well, that same time that they're getting you to sign, they're finding guys coming either behind you or in the same class as you. So you roll in, and there's not just, you thought you were the guy.
Yeah.
There's 3 guys, 2 guys, another guy. I mean, that's just the name of the business.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're taking recruiting trips, and like that they were going to replace me, that he didn't care if I didn't show up the next day. Like it wouldn't bother him, and like he wouldn't lose any sleep over it. And I mean, he let me have it in what felt like an hour or 2 hours, you know, I was just the kind of person, especially growing up, where like, you know, my dad would get on to me and I'd get mad, like stubborn, like I'm going to show you, like I'll show you. And it was like just another case of that, where it was at that point, like that night I went home just so embarrassed, you know, and I'd call my dad every evening when I'd go there, and man, I was like embarrassed to tell him. I don't even think I did tell him. I just knew that I had to turn the page and I had to figure something out. And I did. I ended up starting as a freshman catcher. And I remember we were walking down the where we go, the terminals or whatever at the airport. We were heading to Hawaii to play. And Waz comes up next to me. Ullman comes up next to me. And like, it's like they were talking to each other, like knowing I was there. And I think Waz said, like, I honestly didn't think that Graham would be making this trip. And then Ullman starts kind of chiming in on that. Like, yeah, I didn't even think he'd be here.
They do the good cop,
and then,
bad cop.
Yeah. And then and then they just kind of took off. And I was like, son of a gun, you know, but at that point, that guy who was in my face and those are still the guys I wanted to play for. And I was so disappointed in myself, so embarrassed by myself because I let those guys down. So it was easy for me to choose where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And I think that year, even though it was a big learning experience, I'd do it all over again. And I would like recommend people going through something like that just because just because of what it brings.
Well, and you know, it's the old adage, you know, when somebody stops talking to you, coach, I always tell Finley, you know, Dan Grace, if somebody stops coaching you, that's when you need to start worrying.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Take it, listen, fix it, you know? But the minute they just kind of go, they don't want to do anymore, then yeah.
Well, the thing I realized too is like these coaches, they're on a salary. And like you see it more in college football, but like you see a new coach going this place, or this head coach got fired.
Yep. That
coach going somewhere else. Well, it's not just like that coach got fired. His whole family got fired.
Yep.
His whole family's got to move.
Yep.
His whole family's got to find a new job.
Yeah.
So like there's a lot more on the line when you go into a college, to where if this coach doesn't win, you know, a high school coach, you might get away with not having a winning season. But if you don't win in college, you're out.
Yep.
Like you're just out. And I mean, you could tell by the coaching. And I think if players like took that into consideration, I think everything would be a lot more smooth.
Okay. What year did you get, okay, how long did you play in college?
3 years.
Okay. So what happened after your junior year, what happened?
So junior year, This is like, so I was just catching at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 weeks before the season started, 2 or 3 weeks before the season started, that same pitching coach I was mentioned earlier, Coach Styles, he came in the weight room and he was like, "Hey, you want to pitch today in scrimmage?" And it's like, "Oh yeah, absolutely." Like these are all like, you know, position players are kind of separate from pitchers. And like, absolutely, I want to throw against these guys.
Yeah.
And so I did, and I came out, did really well. You know, next day I'm at like an 8 a.m. class and get like a text on my phone from Ullman saying, "Hey, come to the coach's office when you got a chance." And at that point, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you know, here we go. Here we go again." And so I end up showing up and like everyone's in there and I'm just like, "Oh gosh, what did I do?" Thinking like, did I miss tutoring the other day or like, you know, one or the other? I couldn't remember, but they were like, "Hey, we want you to start pitching." So I was like, "Cool." So I started pitching. I started kind of being like a late inning closer type role, and but they still wanted me to catch too. So now it was like, either way, we're touching the ball every time it's in play. So I'm like kind of all for it, and just whatever they needed. And then it kind of started. There was like 4 or 5 weekends in a row where Sunday starter was kind of in a little bit of a slump. Great athlete, like great pitcher, just kind of out of the groove a little bit. And then they would kind of put me in like long relief. So I'd go like 3 to 5 innings. And then that kind of turned into like, now I was starting on Sundays and then either catching Friday or catching Tuesdays so now I was a starting pitcher and then I was a catcher. And then so then that kind of got me. Well, now it's draft year. So now the only questionnaires or letters that you're getting are pro teams. So I started getting those from all the teams and then like talking to scouts and stuff like that. And
Mostly for catching or pitching?
It was kind of both.
Okay.
And that was kind of the main question. Like, what do you want to do? And
because you're in a position not a lot of dudes are in. There's not a lot of people doing that, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about many like pitchers and catchers.
Yeah.
Especially at that level. But I'm sure there's great athletes.
Yeah,
that
I mean
can
more
do it
just
all.
pitching and catching. I mean,
Yeah.
but
Just like an outfielder and a pitcher or first base pitcher. Yeah. So they just kind of kept asking me like, what do you want to do? Well, growing up, my dream was to be a professional baseball player, but there was no position attached to it. It could have been right field, center field, you know, third base. It didn't matter. I just wanted to be in the big leagues.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted. And then that was my answer. And like, whatever position I can play to get me to the big leagues, that's what I want to do because that's my dream. And like, I didn't put like, it's got to be this, it's got to be that. It was, and I kind of just let them determine that. And like some scouts really liked that. And then some scouts were kind of turned off by it, but which I don't understand why. It was just, hey, you tell me where I can help the team the best. That's kind of how I looked at it. And so, yeah, that's kind of how it was for me. And whatever a team wanted, there was different routes teams wanted to go. It was like, well, we'll start you as a pitcher, and if it doesn't work out, then we'll move you to catcher. Or there were some teams like, hey, we just want you as a catcher. Some teams just as a pitcher. Hey, we'll start you as a catcher. If it doesn't work out, we'll throw you in the mound. It's like, man, whatever works. Whatever's going to get me there.
Yeah. Now, just not, and I know you're saying that you would play any position, which is cool. But in the back of your mind, just in a deep little hole, did you have any place you're like, man, it'd be so awesome to play at X? Just
Position-wise?
No, just a team.
The Yankees.
Okay.
It definitely would have been the Yankees.
Yeah.
But at that point, it doesn't matter.
I know. I mean, like, in that little, I'm not talking about that was driving your train. I just mean that, was there ever just like a driving along one day and like, man, it'd be awesome to be in Baltimore or some, you know.
Definitely wasn't Baltimore.
I'm
but,
throwing one
you know, but I just kept thinking like,
just
thinking like, you know, pinstripes. And like, I remember I got that questionnaire and talked to the Yankee scout and called my dad like, hey, Yankees reached out. And he's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. I was like, that'd be cool. Yeah. Super cool. But you do your best to not think about it.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me what happened. Like where'd you go? And
so I was,
where did you go?
I was drafted in the 4th round by the Atlanta Braves. And which was kind of crazy because like my dad was starting to tell me like all his family members and people that he knew that were Atlanta Braves fan because of Turner Network.
Mm-hmm.
And so like Braves games are always on. So
Yep.
like his mom, who had passed away, years before, huge Braves fan.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, man, it's kind of cool that you're playing for
Sure.
the Braves, and that was her team. So yeah, I got drafted by the Braves in the 4th round, and then at that point it was kind of just whatever they threw at you. You. Like, hey, you fly here, you go there, and you do this and you do that. And so I went to Orlando, Florida, and I was there for 4 days, which culture shock for me. Like that humidity, that heat, and like June was just, oh my gosh, unbearable.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was like a kind of a good distraction because we just lost in like the College World Series tournament, or like we weren't in the World Series, but we were in the Super Regional or regional. I can't really remember now, but that was a bummer because it's junior year. I'm kind of done, and I kind of knew I was after that. But so I went to Orlando for 3 or 4 days, kind of got accustomed to it, meeting all these guys. And, it's kind of like one of those things again, where like come in, you got your chest out, got drafted this, and you're kind of a dude, so to speak. And you're going to go from this spring training complex at Walt Disney, and now we're going to Danville, Virginia on a short season, which they don't have short season anymore, but it was like play another 60 games.
Mm-hmm.
And then here we are in this small town, and same thing, culture shock, humidity's worse. Like 90 feels like 125.
Yeah.
I think on the first day I passed out. Like legit passed out.
Yeah.
No, I did. Yeah, legit passed out in the middle of a coach's meeting and stuff. Just everything went white and then down I went. But I mean, that was kind of like you go from super nice facilities, which our coaches at Oregon told us this. Like you're going to go from really nice facilities, and then you're going to go to kind of nothing, kind of in a sense. And I'm thinking like, what do you mean? It's like one step closer to the dream. Well, I found out pretty quick that those facilities aren't around everywhere.
Yeah.
So we were playing at an American Legion baseball field in Danville, Virginia, and small lockers, showers that still held water in the bottom. And we were getting...
It's like Major League.
Oh, I think probably that set was probably better than what we had, especially some of the places I played. But great, awesome clubhouse manager. But, the thing about clubhouse managers too, I think they're on like a small salary, but what they produce is what you tip them. So if you don't tip very good, well, you're not going to get good results. Which they got a lot better about that as time went on. And so I just remember we'd get like leftover concession stand food, like soggy chicken sandwiches or a soggy burger. Hot dogs was like the main thing. There was always hot dogs in there after we got done with the game. Or he would get like a huge Subway sandwich.
Just like, cut it up.
In like the first inning though. And so like you put 2.5 hours on a yeah, it was like mashed potatoes with them tomatoes and stuff, just soaking through it. But yeah, there's a bunch of situations like that. But yeah.
So when you got drafted and you went to spring ball, where evaluation wise, what happens where you determine whether you're going where you're going? Single A, double A, triple A, all the way.
Like who determines it?
Yeah. When do you start finding out stuff? Is it after spring ball? After?
Yeah. So you kind of, when you show up, you get put on a roster. It doesn't mean it's where you're going to end up, but you get put on a roster, and then they just kind of see how you are there. And then they also see how does it mesh with our flow of this organization. Because you could have one guy in high A that could easily play in triple A, but he's going to go to high A. And to this day, I don't really know like how they determine everything. I think there's a lot of business to it, and how they do it. Like I think you see a lot today where like that guy should have made that team out of spring training, but then within 3 or 4 weeks, he's up there. Well, that 3 or 4 weeks just bought them a whole other year with that player before he goes into arbitration.
Gotcha.
So it's a business move.
Yeah.
We don't have to pay him now. We can wait another year to pay him later, which I always didn't like that because I feel like it prolongs someone's career.
Yeah.
And it also kind of sets back their life because you're not making anything in the minor leagues until you make it.
Yeah.
And once you make it or you sign a free agent deal, now you're making money.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, at the end of the spring training, they'll kind of be like, they'll start putting you on these rosters and you'll go in every day and you're checking the roster. Where am I at? Where am I at? Where am I at? I was on AAA. Now I'm on AA. You know, hopefully I don't keep going down. And, you know, sometimes it had nothing to do with your capabilities or your talent. It just,
where they needed you.
This is a coach maybe is down there that they want you to be around.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, they could call you up like that. They can call you up whenever they want. So it don't matter to them.
Yeah.
But it matters to you.
Right.
Because it's like, well, I don't want to go to low A.
Right.
I'd rather go to AA.
Yeah.
And so that means there's so many uncontrollables that you just can't control. And like, I think Yogi Berra said, like, you know, 90% of the game's mental. It is. It really is. And so it's just, yeah, I mean, that's kind of where you find out. You find out after spring training, either going AAA, AA, high A, single A, or low A, or you're staying in extended. So like extended spring training, you're just going to play other teams around the area that are in other complexes and stuff.
Okay. So when you made the bigs,
did not make the bigs.
Never made the bigs?
Nope.
Okay. Never made a 40. You didn't have, we were on a 40-man roster?
Nope.
Okay. So where, out of your baseball career with the Braves, did you get traded by anybody or play with any other organizations?
Nope.
Just all for the Braves?
I was all with the Braves.
Okay. What's your most memorable moment or time frame pitching for the Braves?
It's kind of hard to say just because wherever you were at, if it wasn't the big leagues, it's not where you wanted to be. So the biggest thing I ever pulled from playing with the Braves, because you meet a lot of great people and there's just awesome contacts you can have, friends that you can have for life.
Yeah. Just
kind of like, you know, what I'm assuming that you deal with as well. Like just guys that this guy's going to be a friend forever.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's necessarily moments. Like we won championships, got to play in the Arizona Fall League, which was a ton of fun, won a championship there. The thing I always draw from when I think about my time playing was I feel like that's when I really started learning about my faith. And I started realizing how important it was of who I was and not what I did. Because just there's guys that I played with that just had that. And I'll never forget them. I'll never forget conversations we had. I'll never forget just what I thought about him, how I made him feel.
Yeah.
Showing up to the field and just gravitating towards him.
Yeah.
And then there was, I think some of the most memorable stuff I had just like performance pitching wise was like first big league spring training. Going there, got like a non-roster invite. And then I just remember that off season, just like working so hard.
Sorry.
You good?
I'm good.
And then showing up and then kind of getting some success at a big league level. And that was because like you have like, you know, your non-roster invites, they come in and then as the weeks go by, people start getting sent down to minor league camp. And so people start getting sent down and I'm still kind of hanging out. And my best buddy at the time, Austin Riley, because it was like every day you come in and like rosters change. And like they wouldn't just like change your roster. They would empty out your locker. And then you'd walk in and then your bag would be set up with everything you got. And then you had to haul it. down to minor league camp. So I remember rolling in there, and I look over, and there's my locker, and it's completely empty. And I had been like pitching great, like striking guys out, throwing super hard, and I'm like, no way. And I look over, and he's like sitting over there, because I was right next to him, sitting over there, because his stuff's gone too. And he's sitting over there laughing, and there's his locker with all of his stuff, and there's my locker with all my stuff right next to him. So they just moved lockers.
Oh my god!
So they played that joke, and I was like, oh, that's brutal.
It's the red card in Major League.
Absolutely, that's brutal. But yeah, I think you just like looking back, I think it's just like, who do I want to be at the end of the day? And like what I did, like what I was doing, like didn't define who I was, even though there was times where like I felt like it did. And that's what I thought, which I think is very easy to do. But I learned a lot about who I wanted to be, because there was guys where you knew the name before you even showed up in the locker room, because they were an all-star or they had a name everybody knew, and you'd roll in and like they just wouldn't give you the time of day, which I didn't expect anything, but it made me appreciate the guys where everyone did know their name, and they were the first ones to shake your hand and welcome you in and like kind of take you in and just show you everything of what it means to like be a part of this team. And then little things to compete at a high level. Those were the guys I remember, like Rex Brothers, Sam Freeman, Austin Riley is a guy like that too. Like just down to earth. You could hang out with them and never made you feel like you were less. And so that was just something I really took from my whole experience there. And then just, I mean, I learned other things about baseball, which I try to help people understand now. But it was such a great experience. And I think it kind of shaped who I am. Definitely shaped who I am.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was going to tell you a quick story about, do you remember the years that where baseball stopped and started again? Did you know that?
Was it in the 80s?
And it could have been, I don't know exact years when it stopped, but the last baseball coach from when it stopped to when it started again, his name was Mel Krause. Is he up any plaques or anything down there at Eugene? He was a longtime baseball coach there. Anyway, he ends up...
at Oregon? Oh, that was first year for Oregon coming back was 2007.
Okay. So he was my baseball coach my junior year in 92.
Okay.
And that guy,
name,
his name was Mel Krause.
Yeah.
And anyway, he was a neat guy. Ended up playing for him. And I learned more about the game of baseball, like probably what you can teach kids and what you're doing with lessons even. Being able to just be around that dude and... like you don't understand it in high school at all.
No.
At all. There's no experience like that. And to have a skipper like him that was it was wild. It was a step back in time, but you got this experience that was so far ahead because he had coached in I think minor leagues and stuff all his career and ended up back at Oregon. And but like I said, I learned more about just the game of baseball than I did anything else, culture, all that kind of stuff. It was awesome. And he was a great guy. In fact, when he passed away, he had cancer and he was still alive. And they basically did his funeral while he was at Autzen. It was massive.
That's kind of wild.
Yeah. Anyway, I was going to tell you that he was an awesome coach, but
that was like playing for George Horton. Incredibly smart.
Yeah.
Like just so baseball savvy, baseball smart. Like there was times where, because he's calling signs from the dugout and I'm relaying them. I think there was a time where he called like 10 pitch outs in a row and the runner stole 10 times. I mean, just like, what are you looking at? And then now that I'm on like this side of the fence, watching these games, watching tendencies and like stuff like that, it's like, that guy's going to steal. Boom, now he goes. And it's just experience seeing it, but like being around that, just that knowledge.
Yeah.
Or that just in-depth knowledge.
Yep.
Imagine it's like messing with horses, just like
Yeah.
things you pick up. And
Yeah, and it was cool because he just, when you're used to having somebody's parent coach you or something or whatever, just even how he worked the umps and stuff, he would just go out, and the way he talked to him was way different than a parent coach, right? I mean, he's been there, he'd done college ball, so it was just it was just cool. And then I DH'd that year, the entire year. So I sat in the dugout with him all the time. And so, I don't know, great guy, helped me out, but, yeah, I will tell you my little baseball story. Okay. So, I too was recruited by Oregon in 1993, but I failed to have good grades. So, my recruiting trip went down there was with another guy that I played ball with in high school. And anyway, I remember going down there, and, after the game in the locker room, they had these tables set up with just mounds of cheeseburgers from McDonald's. And anyway, so the facilities were nice back then compared to a lot of places. So I get home and my mom's like, well, what'd you think of Oregon? I'm like, I want to go there.
Cheeseburgers.
She goes, why? And I go, because they feed you. I mean, I thought that was the coolest thing, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't have grades. I had a 1.69 GPA when I graduated. I'd go play JUCO ball for a year and get my grades up. Anyway, I have a career-ending injury playing a pickup game of basketball before spring ball at Oregon. And so that's over. So about, I don't know, that was 93, 94 I played. And then Pat Casey called me in 98, spring of 98, and George Fox was holding a Mariners tryout. He goes, hey, I want you to come try out. And I'm like, I haven't picked up a bat in like 5 years. So I go to this tryout, and you get 5 pitches, and they basically have you run like a 40-yard dash. And I was fast, and my buddy was taking all the reps at catcher. His name was Ben Petrick. He was a catcher at Glencoe, and I've get drafted by the Rockies. Now he's got Parkinson's. Played for quite a while. Anyway, I hit 2 dingers and 2 live drives with a wood bat, which I had never touched before.
Right.
And that was it. That's all you got. So anyway, I'm talking to these recruiters these coaches at the end of the deal. And long story short, I passed on an opportunity to do some stuff. But that is my baseball. So I'm glad you did what you wanted to do. That's good.
That's neat.
Some of us
That's
had to
super
go
neat.
make mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes in life, so ended up where I'm at.
I think we all have.
But well, I'm going to tell you, dude. It's so you're doing what? You're coaching kids right now?
Coaching.
Yep.
Doing kind of in the process, starting a landscape company.
Okay.
And then I volunteer firefight.
Okay. Public service job? Thinking about it? What are you going to do? Maybe not.
I don't know quite yet.
Yeah.
I think there's just kind of going into like you're talking about firefighting.
Yeah.
Kind of going into that. It's a process.
Yeah.
And when you kind of done one thing for your whole life,
Yep.
and you're 30 years old and you have a wife and now I got a kid.
Mm-hmm.
You start you're not thinking about yourself anymore, so you're thinking about the whole entire picture here.
Yeah.
And so like even with going into a firefighting job, there's to have, especially to be a firefighter around here, you got to have a paramedic.
Yeah.
And so like that's a process.
It's
and like
competitive too.
Yep, and it's definitely earned. And so I don't know. I think right now we just kind of got some stokes in the fire and just kind of see which one ignites.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, probably in, I don't know, 98, somewhere there, 97, 98, I tested with Portland Fire, and I take the test down at the convention center in Portland. There's 6,000 applicants sitting in the convention center taking this test. And my buddy told me if I could make the top 300, I'd get hired. Well, I made I was like 267 or something. Well, anyway, they didn't get to that year. But dude, it was competitive.
That's what I heard.
Very competitive back in the day. But I'm not saying it's easier now, but I don't think it's quite as bad. But yeah, it's a good career.
It seems like the firefighter paramedics that are applying, or even EMTs or ambulance operators around here, like when a job opens up around Central Oregon, especially Bend, Redmond, in that area, Crook County and Sisters, very competitive.
Yeah.
Like it's just where people want to be.
Yeah.
And so like
No, you're not
when
wrong.
you make a list on one of these departments around here, like you're a stud, absolute stud.
But if I have any advice for you, I'll tell you this, that your career in sports growing up, what your dad told you when you were young are traits and things that the sheriff's office is looking for, the fire department's looking for, those types of things. Any business is looking for that, right? That work ethic, that drive, that team mentality. It's not about you. It's a we, not me. So that's amazing that, you have that instilled in you and you experience that with your coach in your face, because we've all needed that in our life for sure. So, okay. Well, dude, I can't thank you enough for coming on and talking about this stuff. It's
I was kind of surprised you asked me.
no, I like this. I want to get people's stories. This is incredible, because maybe people won't know the whole story, right? And we just told it. So,
Well, I kind of told myself on the way here that I hope somebody might have a chance to get something out of it. I don't know.
It can be a snip. It doesn't matter. When this goes out, when people are watching it, there's people they're not all first responders. They're people everyone can get something out of something, right? I mean, we can all go somewhere and get something out of something doing it. So, and if we're not looking, then we're not bettering ourselves.
Well, I appreciate you having me.
Nope. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you.